So if you've been online and you're a developer or within the technology space, I'm pretty sure you've seen one or two or maybe even 10 blog posts or tweets about what programming languages you need to learn in order to be considered a developer this year. So let's chat about that.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
So there's a balance here. So if you're new to development, you might not want to start out learning COBOL or Perl unless you just have some very, very specific needs to where you really know what you want. But if you are looking to learn a new programming language and you're new to development, you really want to make sure that there's strong documentation back out there for you to be able to rely on, and that there's a community that you can lean on too when you're learning these new programming languages. But to be honest, for the upcoming year, you really don't want to focus necessarily on a programming language. You really want to focus on how do you, as a developer, become more productive. So how do we do these things? So what are we running our code in? So if you don't know how to run containers, learn a container technology. Whether it's centered around Docker or not, learn a container technology. If you're not the best tester or you don't have much experience automating your tests, take steps in those directions. So when it comes to goals and technologies to learn for the new year, it's okay to learn a new programming language. Just make sure that there's a good reason for you to venture out into a new language. To me, it's not the best for a new developer to try to learn 4 or 5 different languages in 5 years, because you're not getting that depth that you might want or you might need for a language. And to be honest, all these languages really have the same core functions that you're able to build off of. So maybe you want to take the time to revisit some of your data structures, or take time to become a better architect of the software with the languages that you already know. But to be honest, we really just want to become more productive developers. Automated testing or automating things that you've repeatedly done. If you've never done a CI/CD pipeline, start there and maybe revisit some of your other applications that you might have in GitHub already, and start utilizing those free features that they have there and starting to automate a lot of the things that you already have. So for me personally, when I'm looking forward to do this the new year, is to just become a more productive developer. There are some different flavors of JavaScript that I want to be exposed to more, just because there are some that I have not been using in the past. But to be honest, I already know JavaScript, and I just want to become a more productive developer, and really I want to see how can I become more efficient? How can I write cleaner code? So those are the things that I really think we should focus on for this upcoming year. If you're going to know a new programming language and hey, you have good reasons behind it, go for it. If you're going to stick to the same language, there's nothing wrong with that. It might not be exciting, but you're going to become a better programmer within that language. So let's focus on becoming more productive and making cleaner code. And also, technology aside, there's also a lot of other things that we can work on as developers. So being a better team player. So if you're already fortunate enough to be on a development team, how can we communicate better? Communication is really what we do day to day, and really what developers get paid to do. Whether you're communicating with the computer or communicating with other developers on your team, or most importantly, especially from a business aspect, communicating with the customers or the end users that you're developing for. Without us having end users, we really won't have the funding or the budget to actually develop things. So communication is another thing, those soft skills. So maybe we might not we might have a lot of miscommunications when it comes to having sitting down and making sure that we get our point across with our teammates in email or over video calls. How can we do better in those aspects? So those are all great things that we can really sit down and do, and set goals for ourselves to become better developers in the upcoming year. So If you want to learn that new programming language, go for it. Regardless if you are or not, make sure that we're becoming more efficient as developers and that we're automating the things, the repetitive tasks, so we can spend more time focused on those things that are not as easily automated and takes a little bit more of our creativity and our brain power. So if there are really any tasks that you're repeating every day, let's automate those things. So regardless of any of the popular Twitter tweets that you're seeing or the popular blog posts that you're seeing, just know that developers are going to be in high demand for this upcoming year and for years to come. And just know that programming languages will increase and decrease in popularity over time. But to be honest, a lot of the same fundamentals are still applied. Lock down a strong understanding within one programming language, and then just make sure that you're becoming more efficient as a developer. Being able to build out CI/CD pipelines, being able to know how to containerize your code and run your code within containers. These are all things that really are going to be here for a long time. And as developers, we want to better utilize the cloud. Being able to better utilize the cloud and being able to save our company dollars within the cloud and being able to show those numbers on how you're being more efficient will really separate you as a developer from others. So when it comes to the new year, no, developers are always going to be in high demand now and in the future. Pick a language and have a good reason for using that language. If you have goals of being hired by a certain company, look out and see what that company is actually writing in and what technology that they're in. But when it comes to being a better developer, there are some fundamental things that are just not going away. Being more productive and automating common tasks, and then also being a good communicator. You can't just be a developer that's not willing to talk with the team and not willing to work out those communication problems amongst your team, the end users or customers, and even higher management, and being able to know how does the development and the features we add affect the business portfolio of the company. Also, just ask yourself, how can I be a more efficient developer? And to be honest, it might not be learning a new programming language. So when you see these Twitter posts and these blog posts and all this other content that's centered around telling you what language you need to learn if you haven't already learned it, read it, enjoy it, but just know that it all depends, and it all depends on what your goals are for the year. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and I hope that you all reach your goals this year, and I'm looking forward to hearing from you all and being able to share great content for you all soon. Have a great year.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.